Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We are witnessing history right now, tonight. For the first time, a former director of the FBI has been indicted. Indicted by the Department of Justice, whose leader, the Attorney General, was just days ago publicly urged in writing by the president to indict James Comey. This was the social media post the president wrote Saturday, directed at the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. And I want to read it all to you now in full because it foreshadows how this has all played out today. Pam, it begins. I've reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially same old story as last time. All talk, no action. Nothing's being done. What about Comey, Adam Shifty Schiff, Letitia? They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done. The president continued, talking about the U.S. attorney he forced out for not taking action. Then we almost put in a Democrat-supported U.S. attorney in Virginia with a really bad Republican past, a woke rhino who was never going to do his job. That's why two of the worst Dem senators pushed him so hard. He even lied to the media and said he quit and that we had no case. No, I fired him and there is a great case, and many lawyers and legal pundits say so. The president then turns to the former personal attorney he picked to replace the U.S. attorney. Lindsay Halligan is a really good lawyer and likes you a lot. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now. And that is exactly how it played out. Firing the U.S. Attorney Eric Siebert, replacing him with a loyalist, Lindsay Halligan, took the action he was so loudly demanding. And now the one-time head of the premier law enforcement agency in the country, if not the world, is facing 2 federal criminal counts. Their obstruction of a congressional proceeding and giving false statements to Congress during this testimony in 2020. This is the key moment in that testimony.
On May 3rd, 2017, in this committee, Chairman Grassley asked you point blank, quote, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation? You responded under oath, quote, never. Now, as you know, Mr. McCabe, who works for you, has publicly and repeatedly stated that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and that you were directly aware of it and that you directly authorized it. Now, what Mr. McCabe is saying and what you testified to this committee cannot both be true. One or the other is false. Who's telling the truth?
I can only speak to my testimony. I stand by what the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017.
Your testimony is you've never authorized anyone to leak. And Mr. McCabe, if he says contrary, is not telling the truth. Is that correct?
Again, I'm not going to characterize Andy's testimony, but mine is the same today.
Well, tonight's charges came even as sources were telling us that Attorney General Bondi and other federal prosecutors had concerns about the case. If so, the Attorney General, at least now, seems on board. She posted about it online, quoting, no one is above the law. Today's indictment reflects this Department of Justice's commitment to holding those who abuse positions of power accountable for misleading the American people. We will follow the facts in this case. A short time later, the president weighed in. The post reads, justice in America. One of the worst human beings this country has ever been exposed to is James Comey, the former corrupt head of the FBI. Today, he was indicted by a grand jury on 2 felony counts for various illegal and unlawful acts. He's been so bad for our country for so long and is now at the beginning of being held responsible for his crimes against our nation. Make America great again. His animus toward James Comey is no surprise. He's talked about it, yelled about it, joked about it for years.
Comey and all this, sleazebags.
Comey lied to everybody.
Brennan. We fired Comey, that fraud.
That phony, crooked Comey.
Comey should hang his head in disgrace. Comey is a dirty cop. Comey is a corrupt person. One of the best things is firing James Comey's out of there. He's a leaker. Comey, who's the worst. They lied to Congress many times. Comey and all those guys. Comey lies and leaks. He's a liar and he's a leaker. Is this guy being looked at? But we're going to straighten it out.
A guy like Comey, who's a sick man. I mean, Comey's a sick man. The one person I did a very good thing in firing was the dirty cop Comey. There's something wrong with him. But it's all coming out, and I love to watch it step by step, day by day.
Comey's a liar and a leaker. I did you a great favor when I fired this guy.
This guy has now been indicted by the Department of Justice, which the president clearly views as his Department of Justice. As for the urgency now, the statute of limitations was about to run out on Tuesday. A lot of voices to hear from tonight. CNN's Evan Perez starts us off. So talk more about this indictment. I mean, it's 2 pages. There's not much there.
Right, there's not much there, Anderson, but you just played the clip of that testimony, which was central to this investigation, and that really tells the story. This is about testimony that the former FBI director gave to the Senate on September 30th of 2020. And he was asked whether he had ever authorized leaks to the news media. According to the indictment, what he said was false, that he had, of course, according to prosecutors, had authorized leaks to the news media related to the Donald Trump investigation. And I'll read you just a part of what Lindsay Halligan, who is the new acting Attorney General, the new acting U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. She's been on the job since Monday. She's the one that presented the case to the grand jury, which is an indication, Anderson, that the career lawyers in that office did not want to do so. And so that is unusual. We don't normally have U.S. attorneys actually presenting cases to the grand jury, but that is what we had today. And what we heard from Magistrate Judge Lindsay Vala today in court, she said that 14 grand jurors had agreed to indict on these 2 counts. One of them was for making false statements in the jurisdiction of a congressional proceeding, and the second count was for obstruction of a congressional proceeding. There was a third count that prosecutors had sought an indictment on another false statement charge that was voted down by the grand jurors. They did not approve that third count. So that's why we have 2 counts now against James Comey. Now, these 2 counts are carry 5-year terms. They would be concurrent if he were to be convicted. And of course, the fact that James Comey has never been charged with a crime, it's unlikely he would get 5 years if he were to be convicted. But we're a long way from there, Anderson.
And just to be clear, we do not know what that third count that they wanted was.
Right. There was a third count where he was asked a question about Hillary Clinton, whether he leaked on Hillary Clinton. And it appears, according to the No True Bill, that is the one that they voted down.
All right, Evan Perez, thanks. We'll check in with you throughout this hour. We've just gotten a video statement by James Comey on Instagram. Here it is in full.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump. But we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it. Which it does. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
It is a remarkable statement to hear from a former head of the FBI who has now been indicted.